Welcome to Breaking Ground. I'm Steve Kliegerman, and I am honored today to be with Daniele Busca of Scavolini and Lisa Ben Isvy of LBI ConneXt. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's great to have you here. So Daniele, tell us a little bit about the history of Scavolini, how you got involved with it. I also read a bit of your bio about your design career and your background. So tell us a little bit about Scavolini, but also how you came to be with Scavolini and how you're impacting their opportunity to expand the brand.
Well, that was, I ended up in Scavolini by an accident, I would say. I came 20 years ago on vacation to Miami, and I got an offer for a job as a marketing director from a dealer in Miami. They had multi-brands, all Italians, and they approached me and they said, you know, we have all these Italian brands, design brands, but we are not Italians, we are not designers, and you are an Italian designer. Do you like to work with us? And that was not my background because I come from a different business, come from fashion, high fashion.
Right.
I started in Rome, and then I worked for big brands, and then I worked as a freelance. At that time, I was freelance. And then I said, well, maybe I can stay a few months. This was 20 years ago. And then Scavolini, through them, they met me. And then when they decided in 2009 to open the US division, actually, they created Scavolini USA 2008. But then 2009, they approached me. And they said, oh, we are doing this big operation. I was already with a different company. And we want you in New York. And then I said, well, it's too cold. I'm not coming. And that was for, they called me for, at the time, the CEO was 6 months. Every Friday, he was calling me for something. I need your advices because you have experience. I'm new. And then at one point I said, okay, I'm coming. But if I don't like it, I go back to Miami. And I said, okay. But then, of course,
I guess
get to New
it.
York. I like it very much, I have to say. And that was my energy. And that's the city where I like to live and work.
That's great. That's great. And Lisa, thank you, first of all, for introducing me to Daniele and for bringing all these great brands that you bring to our attention. Lisa is a PR and marketing expert who works with a lot of designers and architects to work with developers to help enhance their projects. And Lisa, tell me a little bit about your experience and how did you get involved in this?
So it started when I became the publisher of New York Spaces, and I wanted to change the magazine, and I decided to bring in real estate. So I did 2 back-to-back panels, one with real estate agents, top real estate agents, and the other is with architects and designers. And it was at One West End, and Scavolini was already my client, and it was
With the magazine.
It just so happened that Jeffrey Bierce was on the panel, who was the architect for the building and did the whole entire building with all custom 246 units of Scavolini kitchens.
And bathrooms,
right?
yeah.
And bathrooms. So that was the first of many. And then I said, you know what? This makes sense that designers and architects and fabulous kitchen and bath companies join forces with real estate.
That's so smart, and what a great relationship you built out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now we're stuck with each other.
Yeah,
Right,
for sure.
for
Yeah,
years.
because then you become friends. It doesn't happen all the time, but in this case, it happened. It was just a good connection, and then things, got.
No, that's the part where you're grateful, right?
Absolutely.
You work with a good brand, but you want to work with them more and more because you like the person who really represents the
Of
brand,
course.
the face of the brand.
Of course. Speaking of the brand, how important is it for you to convey the Scavolini story and the family behind the story when you are working with developers or even, whether it's a developer or a one-off, homeowner?
Yeah, we have, so Scavolini, we opened in the flagship store in Soho, Scavolini Soho Gallery, and it's a beautiful space. And from there, everything started. retail and the multi-unit, the contract division. But the common thread is that we always tell, because it's just a storytelling. The brand in Italy, Scavolini, is a huge, massive brand. The brand recognition is 96%. So it's like a big, big brand. But in here, we are a new brand. So we had developed business with other dealers, but we were not present as a corporate office. And that's how we started to develop and create this brand more familiar, like give familiarity of this brand to the public. And the big story for me still, after all these years, is about the family. So Scavolini is a family. The company is still owned 100% by the family. We have now the second generation, but the founder, Mr. Scavolini, officially retired. And of course, it's all the family business, goes every day to the factory, and then the factory is really large.
On his bicycle.
And
I know the story.
With the bicycle from a department to the other. It's very fit and healthy. So, and he likes this idea to be there. The value of the human touch on our business in this company is really key. And this is like the ideals and the DNA of this company, but because it's the value of Mr. Walter Scavolini, the founder, that transmitted to the kids. So now our CEO is Fabiana Scavolini, and our president for Scavolini USA is Gianmarco Scavolini. And but they are really bringing these values to the next generation, because now the third generations, they start right now in some of the departments. But people are the key. And that's how Scavolini, they started, the two brothers, in a garage. This actually, 2026, is the 65th anniversary of the company.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Yeah,
That's
thank
amazing.
you.
Yeah.
And they started in the garage. They created this kind of credenza. That was their first product. And it's called La Svedese. They have a small museum in the factory where they have their main product that made the history of the company. You know, there are always some moment in your history
Milestone,
where
sure.
then you go to the next level.
Sure.
So in 1984 is when Scavolini became the number one brand in Italy for kitchen cabinetry, and still we are the largest exporter of kitchen, bathroom, and then closet. And that's, of course, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of investment, because one side is we have the value of the people. On the other side, we have the importance of technology. This was something that Mr. Scavolini from the beginning had in his mind, to work with something different, new materials. At the time, Formica was something new, and he wanted to just explore how to use it in a different way, but also technology. And right now, we are for sure, in terms of technology that we use in the production, but also in the handling of the product and the orders, ahead of everybody, because of this idea that is 65 years old, and that's the fact that technology makes the difference. So now, when you look at Scavolini and the way we produce cabinetry, it's more like an automotive factory where all these components get assembled. And the capability of the company is in full speed, up to 250 kitchens per day.
You were telling me that earlier. That's amazing that you can produce that many high-quality kitchens in one day. You were also telling me about the finishing process and how you make the corners seamless. I think it's really important for our developers and contractors out there to better understand a little bit more about that process.
Well, technology, I always say, is not just in our phones, in everything that we do every day, and also in the way we build cabinetry. So, for example, and another keystone, like really big belief in Scavolini is the sustainability, because Mr. Walter Scavolini comes from a family of farmers. He's never shy to say when we were poor and this was happening. And actually, when Scavolini decided to change all the production line and be sustainable, this was in the late 90s. So when still not many people were talking about
way ahead of their
sustainability.
time.
Way ahead.
But it was not because, it's going to be cool to be sustainable. It came from Walter Scavolini that one day said, but how is it possible? When we were poor, there was no waste. Now we are rich and we are surrounded by all this waste. That's wrong. And I'm not going to be the one polluting this land, because we depend on our land and we need to protect it. And from that thought, there was this massive investment to change the entire production line, change the way of building the cabinetry. Actually, we were the first one to use this panel, which is called HydroLab. And this is when we are talking about quality, okay? HydroLab is a panel made of 100% post-consumer recycled wood, water-resistant, fire-retired, lowest formaldehyde emission, okay? So it's an engineered panel that doesn't move. And this makes sense because everything that we use in terms of hardware, drawers, basket, pull-outs, they are high-engineered products. And they work only if the box is a stable box and doesn't move because the air is too dry or is too humid and it expands. And this was back in the 90s. So we were the first ones. Of course, we got awarded for to be so sustainable, because these are not cheap products. These are very expensive products because the process to get this panel is complicated. It is time consuming. Mm-hmm. And but that's how we do things. And the funny thing is, they don't even say it. And I said, but this is very important. I said, but that's how we do things here. And so because they really believe about the fact that we need to protect our land and talk about investment. The last investment is the facility I was telling you about. Is 180,000 square feet and is empowered by solar panel completely. The factory, the rest of the factory also is covered by solar panel. When it's summer, they produce up to 95% of the energy that they need. But this is an investment made by the family of 55 million euros, so about $65 million. Yeah. And it just started production a few months ago. And there are all this new machinery I was talking about, very expensive, because technology is expensive. Sure. But of course, quality, they guarantee quality even in large production. Then I was talking about the bridge that's been built to connect this new facility to the warehouses, and is empowered by solar panel. All the material is moved through a trade mill, so there are no gas emission, no trucks, no cars. And that is also part of the investment and that Scavolini does for the environment, for the product, and also for the quality in the work space.
That's incredible, and I think that's something that through marketing, mm-hmm. right, is a message that I think developers really need to lean into, because I know a lot of buyers, particularly here in New York, they're very concerned about sustainability, mm-hmm. and I don't think that many highlight that not only is the developer maybe within the constructability of the building being sustainable, but actually their vendors are being sustainable as
Right.
well. I
Also
think that's
because
something
brands
really
really
important
care.
to talk about when you talk about the brands that you bring into your development.
And sustainability, sorry, but talk about sustainability is also a long-lasting product.
Right.
So the lifespan of our product is at least 25 years.
That's incredible.
But I still have people calling from retail in the US with kitchen of over 30 years. And they said, oh, I have a pool that I broke a pool. Can I have it? I said, well, after 30 years, it's impossible. I said, at least you changed 10 cars. You need to change. You need to buy a new kitchen. And they said, why? It's new.
They love it.
Right. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Says a lot.
This is a great conversation. We'll be right back.
From residential and commercial closings to litigation, Romer DeBoss is your full-service real estate law firm. We blend big firm knowledge with boutique-level attention, delivering outcomes that exceed every expectation. Contact us at romerdeboss.com.
I'm Brian Scott Cohen, one of the top loan originators in the country, and the #1 mortgage originator at Guaranteed Rate Infinity. Guaranteed Rate Infinity arguably has the most advanced tech in the industry. Our completely digital loan process makes it easy and efficient for homeowners, from a 15-minute pre-approval to the digital application and through closing. My team and I would love to help you get into the home of your dreams.
All right, we're back. So, Lisa, how important is it when you're talking to developers to align them with the right brand of kitchen, bathroom, designers? Tell us a little bit about how you talk to developers about that process.
I mean, it's everything. Because if I connect anyone with the wrong person, I mean, I would never. You know, I find out really, like, for instance, we'll use Daniele here because
Yes, of
he's
course.
right next to me, my friend. I know the story. I share the story just like Daniele shares the story. I knew that Mr. Scavolini rides his bicycle. He was a farmer. He was a carpenter. And I share that he still is the same guy that he was years ago, and how they care about sustainability and the material and the detail, and they treat everyone. When you go to the showroom at either the indie building or downtown, I know not to bring a coffee because they cater to, what can I get you? Can I get you everything? And it's on a beautiful tray. Everything is done just like the brand. People are dressed like the brand. Perfect. They care. They take pride. And that's really important. When I introduce an architect or a designer, I make sure that they are exactly at the same level, but not only the quality of their work, but easy to work with in their personality.
That's super
it's
important.
all about the people. If
Yeah.
you do not like who you're working with, I don't care how talented you are, there are always problems in a job, and it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
You kind of want to say, okay, this happened, how are we going to fix it, and move on.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
So that's really...
Yeah, I love it. Daniele, your designs are beautiful. How does Scavolini pair great design with functionality?
Well, that's the key of our product. I always tell everyone, we Italians cook a lot. There's no question about it. But the kitchens that we have are not big, are not as big as this. So any kitchen is compact but very functional. Form and function goes together. This is a tradition of the European cabinetry. It's a modular system. But of course, as I was telling you before, when in here, we have to be the ambassador of a brand that is located in Italy, but we need also to transfer what the American public and clients needs, and make sure that they understand and they make things in a different way. So it's our way of building the cabinetry, but adding some features that in here are key. And that has been our job. It's our job every day. And that's so, to me, very interesting, because you are in between two different cultures. and you are the translator, and you cater the service and the product that they need. But I have to say how important is the American market for Scavolini, even if it's not the number one market. They created a bathroom line in 2012 because the request that we were having, not only from the retail, but from the developers. And in 2018, we introduced a line like a collection of closets. Because again, in an apartment, you need a kitchen, bathroom, and a closet. Those are the fixture that comes with the unit, and they must represent an aesthetic. In this case, when we work with an architect for a contract division for a multi-unit, he must represent his vision. We created a department for the customization because of the US. We made 30-inch and 36 inches standard because the American market. We are able, because of the new machinery, new technology, to create custom panels. We have a way to store the custom panel for the US that when you look at it and you are in there, you feel that you are in the NASA, not it's amazing. The robots, the way they pick this gigantic panel and they slide them into this kind of library. And it's amazing what they did. And this is because the American market, because the technology, when it comes to the multi-units, so the buildings, we are able to stick with the deadlines, which are so important. And that's what makes your reputation, you build your reputation on deliveries, on the quality that is there, on the service of the post-sale service. Because this is very important on the retail, but also on the multi-unit side.
Sure.
We have custom pieces made for one type of project. We are trying to keep it available for some years. And if we don't have it anymore, we just give an alternative. But we always give an answer. Then, of course, sometimes it takes longer to get the piece. But we just make sure that the request, this is part of buying luxury.
Absolutely.
Luxury is also that. You don't buy just an aesthetic or a functional item, but it's also like, the post-service.
Right. So like what type of features does Scavolini bring to the table, whether it be, inserts or the hardware, or you walk into a lot of people's homes and and I'm not saying this is Scavolini, you walk into a lot of people's homes and you see like their kitchen cabinets are misaligned because the hinges are impossible to play with. I know, like in my own house, I didn't design my kitchen, right? I didn't build my kitchen, but whenever I have to adjust my kitchen cabinets, I need I basically need an engineering degree. So how does Scavolini? How do you address those concerns for a buyer?
So, technology first. We update all the hardware. We had a major update a couple of years ago for all drawers, hinges, and pull-out system. We introduce always new feature. So one of the features that now is very in demand and people loves it are these pocket door closet where you can get storage that you can organize in any way. They can go up to 8 feet wide, and you can have a hidden kitchen, a wet bar, or just a pantry for all the small appliances. Of course, there's a lot of engineering. We get all our hardware from Italy, but mainly from Austria with Bloom. Bloom is our main supplier. Hinges are from Salice, which is an amazing Italian brand. But this comes also with a warranty. And of course, they need adjustment because in the kitchen is the only room in the house where there's really people working in it.
Yes.
So there's the washing, the cooking, the storage. And then, of course, the kitchen is the heart of the home. And it's true, it's not just a way of saying. Even the new design, the new layouts, even if right now there is more this trend of having at least what is called the dirty kitchen, so what is the mess is happening, and keep the main kitchen neat, but it's an open layout. And I always say right now the living room is kitchen centric, because everything is around the kitchen. So that's why the kitchen, they don't look anymore like a kitchen, but it's more like a piece of furniture. So there is an aesthetic that transfer from the kitchen to the living. So they pair beautifully with the living room, with the dining room. There is a flow that, of course, we can achieve when there is all this research in design. There's going to be in April Eurocucina in Milan, which is the main trade show in the world for design. But this is the kitchen edition, and we will present all the newest in terms of finishes, of color, of features. And it's amazing how you can see that there are new finishes pair with the new technology, because this is the way it works. And that's why form and function goes together. I always say, especially for the multi-unit, we build the home for the future. Because when we started a design and a multi-unit, it's at least 3-4 years ahead from the moment that we start installing the kitchens. And so that's the vision that comes from the architect, but also from the marketing in the real estate, because they have the pulse of the market, what the clients want. Because especially in New York, this is a special market, because this is an international hub of people, wealthy people that have homes.
Buyers.
Yes.
All over the places. So they have homes in Europe, they have homes in China, they have homes in Russia, they have homes in Asia, they have homes in Australia. They have a portfolio and they have the knowledge, because they see how things are made differently. But there is a common thread, which is the European cabinetry, that aesthetic, the seamless aesthetic, with everything clean, hidden, beautiful to look at. That's what they look at, even when they come to New York and they buy for a beautiful property. And that's how the marketing team addresses, because they talk to these people.
Absolutely.
And then they say, well, this is what we see that is happening. This is what they are asking for. This is a new feature that they want, a new room that they need. And that's so important, this collaboration. It is always about people.
Right. Has the change in New York to all electric, mostly induction, I assume now going forward, had any impact on your kitchen designs, or was it kind of seamless?
It was, in Europe, there's already this big trend for induction. So even the cabinet has to be in a certain way, especially technically. If you have an oven underneath, there are, you need to make sure that the cabinet house both appliances. And but induction goes really very well with our design, because it can be flush, you don't even see it. Yes. Right now there are also hidden cooktops, so you can install under the counter, some countertop, not all of them, and so you don't even see it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Actually, I've seen them in the showrooms, and it's really incredible.
It's really cool. So that's why I'm saying technology, but they go hand to hand. Sure. Yeah. Always. And the importance of lighting. Yeah. The lighting now, it's like key anywhere. And we have all this new type of lighting, and you can dim them. You can have inside the cabinet, outside of the cabinet, on the sides of the cabinetry, because they are treated more like furniture. And this is like the result of the experience that we have because we are a global company, the experience of our designers, of the company, the people in the company that does the job for 65 years. And of course, the biggest source are our clients and the people we talk to when we have, to me, that's the most interesting also part of the job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's with exchange of ideas
Sure.
that new things happen.
Come, right? So speaking of the clients, in a perfect situation, when does the developer get you involved in the kitchen design concepts, the bathroom design concepts, the closet design concepts?
There are different situations, okay? Sometimes we are called and the building is already, in construction. But usually in the perfect world, the developer knows us from previous experiences. And then we get in touch with the architects and the interior designer and the marketing team. And that's how the conversation starts. Mood boards and what is the vision and all of that. So we have different way to approach it, but when it comes to customization, if it's something highly customized that needs special finish, as we have done even for with the team of Jeffrey Beers, we had them in the factory. And we had them for a week. And it's so important for them to see how we build the cabinetry because nobody has idea. When they say it, it's like, the jaw drops because they have no idea. We have people standing in this platform 30 feet high in the dark and they don't see anything. And then at one point you feel this hair coming. And then at the end, you see this big robot that is 100 feet high that move all the components at a very fast speed for the storage. And nobody expects that. And we have just 7 of that. In one warehouse, there are 7 of these robots moving all the components just in one warehouse. And that's the way we build the cabinet.
I've got to get there.
Oh, yeah. We invite
I really do.
people. We invite because it's a state-of-the-art technology and it's so efficient and everything, even the boxing, the way we box the cabinet, even the custom cabinet, there is a robot that reads the dimension and it makes the box at custom size.
Yeah.
But the way also the material that we use, the glass door, it sounds easy, but it's not. Glass is the best material you can have in the kitchen, but the way you apply the glass on the support, on the aluminum support, it's tricky. So you need precision, and that's what we need. So when they see that, they say, oh, why we don't do this? Now that I see the way you do it, why this door cannot be done in this way? But when the team is there, we can solve requests for finishes in a matter of few days because we have all our network of supplier ready to go. And then we say, oh, we need this color. Next day, the new sample is there for them to look at.
That's incredible.
And doesn't happen all the time. It's just really when there's a lot of customization. But this is so convenient and so efficient time-wise.
Sure.
Because the teams come back with all the ideas. They saw already the samples. They don't get the final, but the final gets then very quickly, at least to look at that.
Right.
And that is a long process.
Oh,
it's
sure.
a long process because, as you well know, then the layout of the kitchen changes, then they add more feature, and then there's new rooms to fill, and then they say, oh, why we don't do the closet? Oh, but we need also the bathroom. Let's do the bathroom, but it's not the same finish, but it has to have the same kind of aesthetic.
Right.
And so you need to rework that process. So it's a long process, but it's very rewarding because at the end, you know that you are part of a project that is unique and has been made for a selected type of client that has been targeted years before.
Right.
That is the amazing part.
Hi, I'm Dylan Pachulik, CEO of XL Real Property Management, New York's most trusted name in luxury property management since 2012. We specialize in managing individual apartments, townhouses, and rental buildings held by absentee owners. We maintain our properties with the highest standards of quality and service so that owners can choose a hassle-free approach to real estate investing. Rented or owner-occupied, we handle it all. For more information, contact us at xl-rpm.com.
And for the developers out there, a lot of times questions come up about installation. So do you install the kitchens in the projects as well, or do you work with the contractor that the developer is contracting?
We can install. We did many times, but when we don't do that, because sometimes it's just the request, oh, we need the cabinet, we have our installers, but of course we have our project manager there, and at least for the sales center and for some units in the building, we have our team showing, because every cabinet, everybody has his own way to build the cabinetry, and because of the hardware and the way things are designed, is always important to show what is the way to install them. Because the European cabinet, one thing that is very convenient on the installation point, that are very easy to install once you know how to install it, is a quick installation, because the cabinet comes already built. So there are some, it's like a procedure to follow, but then it's really easy. And also alignment, talk about alignment,
Right.
because of the hardware is so sophisticated, you can really make the adjustment quickly, but you need to know how you do it. You just need a screwdriver, and you can do the entire kitchen, but still you need to know how to do it. If not, it's mission impossible.
Right.
I'm telling you, I've seen things that were like unbelievable. I say, how this thing happened?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Lisa, you introduced me to Daniele. You've brought so many great designers and architects and vendors to the table. How do you create all these relationships?
I actually like people. You know what? I think that I truly do love to meet people. And then I think my head goes like, oh, I should introduce this to this. And I share the story. And I feel like just organically, everybody asks me, like, I'm working on this project. Do you know a great kitchen brand? Do you know a great designer? I need an architect. And I'm like, and then before I know it, they're also asking me for a fabulous broker. So I just feel like all these partnerships, it's based on strong relationships for years. I mean, I keep in touch. I started in the fashion industry. I still keep in touch with my first CEO. So I think that relationships are very important. Partnerships like this, we've known each other for over 10 years now, are very important. After New York Spaces, I worked for a surface company, which is how I learned about the other side of the business. And we ended up being at the opening
way you
of
carry yourself, and then how I always say, to keep the relationship, you have always to be true to yourself. And the way you just carry your business is there, that at the end is what matters, because the relationship at the end and the connection are to make everybody's lives and work easier. That's why we talk about partnership.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I always say we are a partner in a job. We are not just a vendor. We are a partner, because at the end, that's what it is. And I'm even if I'm the company, I always tell to the headquarters, we are bringing your philosophy and your product in here, and but like, you know, it's always a partnership. We
Absolutely.
are always in an exchange of ideas.
Yeah.
And
brainstorming together and coming up with solutions.
Absolutely. It is a partnership, and we have the same
Always.
philosophy.
Always.
And Lisa, you're such a great matchmaker because, you know, you match great designers and great vendors and great architects with terrific developers, terrific brokerage firms like ourselves. And I can't thank you enough for the introduction to Daniele,
thank
who
you, thank you.
I know we're going to have a lot of opportunities together in the future.
Because she knows us, even if we are a big brand, but we need people that, bring the stories
Absolutely.
out.
Absolutely.
And that's how you create. And of course, then you have to, be at the level of the service that you are offering.
Sure.
And make sure that you go even beyond if it's possible. Because that's when you deliver. That's what people remember. It's always at the end. It's not the years before. It's at the end what you have done.
Absolutely.
It's always.
Did you deliver a quality product on time, on schedule, on budget?
And if there was a problem,
you address
because this is the
address it
thing,
and they don't know
we
about
are
it.
not in the perfect
No,
world. And
nothing's
construction is sometimes
Sure.
messy. But I always tell people the difference between a good company and a bad company is when the good company, if there is a problem, step up and resolve the problem. That's how you do it. Of course, you cannot do miracle. If they want a custom piece made in a day, it's impossible. But we guarantee that the project is completed and whatever is there is 100% functional. The door is a scratch and needs to be replaced. We redo it with the timing that is needed. We expedite it. Technology help us. But that's how you do it. That's the good company, because at the end, that's what they remember.
Because you have to care.
Well said. And that's why when you're
Yeah.
working with a family business, you get that kind of care.
Because it's their name.
That's their name and
Yeah.
it's
And
their
their-
reputation.
And their reputation. And that is
Absolutely.
not just business. This is personal.
It's personal.
Yeah.
Perfect way to end. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And thank the Scavolinis for bringing such a great product and a great story to the marketplace.
Thank you
truly.
for the opportunity to share the story.
My
It
pleasure.
was
Thank
very interesting, very fun, and thanks so much for the time.
My pleasure. Thank
you.
you both. Till next time.
What do you really need to know about buying or selling a home? First, it's serious business. And it's complicated. There's a lot of money on the table, and emotion too. You need an agent who knows the ropes. So, whether you're buying or selling your home, work with professionals who have a mastery of the craft.